5,800, 85 pounds, 261 BHS Catalina rolling in here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And I think this is ideal for half-ton camping families, especially first-timers. And here's why I say that. There's the 261 BH no slide. This is the 261 BHS. And a lot of times first-timers will get the one with no slide, and then on average 2.5 years later, we're gonna see again, you're gonna take a bath on that thing and you're gonna trade it in and, you know, take a beating. I don't like that. I like to get you your second camper the first time. So if you're on the fence between no slide or slide, I recommend this one with the slide. You know, if your family's, you got kids like 8, 9, something like that, they're gonna be camping with you 4, 5, 8, 9 years, something like that. Well, you'll be happy that you have the slide out space and the bunks, and then you can swap it out for the couple's camper of your choice and get your second camper the first time and your third camper the second time. Does any of this even make sense? So like most brands that build a layout like this, it has a pretty high level of travel accessibility. You notice how they put the sofa where the countertop juts out so you can kind of sweep through, you can get to that huge pantry closet area we'll see in a minute. Now the one kind of hiccup here, if you're smaller, you can squeeze through here to get to the bathroom without touching the slide out. I am a little too thick around the midsection, but if I put my gut basically between the bunks and kind of do a weird sort of limbo jaunt, I can get my way around there. But that being said, if you just bump the slide like that much, that's all it takes. Just a couple inches to give you that extra little squeeze room. You can get through here and get to the bathroom much easier. And a couple things impressed me about what you just saw there. Obviously it was a little speed enhanced just to keep things rolling along. But first of all, how much of an impact it makes when a slide is open versus closed. And secondly, how quiet Catalina slides are. I don't know what they do different, but their slide mechanisms just are quiet, smooth as butter. They get the job done, they get it done well. So they have recently increased the size of the windows here in that Super Slide to really open it up. And the big windows in conjunction with the 3-inch taller, 6'9" interior as compared to the average kind of starter camper, I think it makes a huge difference. Now you can obviously see we've got centralized air conditioning up there. We've got a good LED lighting package, and you might notice they're kind of spread out in weird spots. Catalina's really good about that, actually. You can tell this is made by someone that just goes camping. A lot of brands will just go bap, 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 3 lights right down the middle. And that's where Catalina kind of starts to get a base point. But then there's like an extra one here, 1 or 2 there. They put extra lights where they find they need them. So they're like, yeah, it looks a little dark in here. Put 1 more light over there. That way you're not spending too much money on overkill lights and not enough money on not enough lighting. So both the sofa and the dinette can fold down into extra sleeping spaces, and they also both have bonus storage below them. Now chances are you're not going to need these in sleeper position very much because we've got a master bed then 2 double bunks, but it's always here if you want it. And you might note how we've got pleated shades for both of those. That'll keep the sunshine out, but obviously you see that center beam. They will open for airflow. That's also very good for keeping a ton of heat out of the camper if you're in direct sunlight. But like I said, there is storage below all of this as well. Now this is not the kind of stuff, you're not going to put your everyday like bacon and eggs pan down here. This is that long-term stuff like, hey, it's rainy, we need to get out the kids' games or something like that, or a couple extra totes, or you get the idea, you know, this is occasional use space. Now, speaking of storage, over here, first of all, let me back up just to give you a good look at the whole living area, like from the other side of the bedroom. But, I mean, that's the difference in that Super Slide. Like I said, when you saw it open versus closed, it's a dramatic difference. And that is a 7 cubic foot fridge freezer, by the way. It's 17% larger than typically found in this class. And over here, we've got that big floor-to-ceiling either pantry or linen cabinet, whatever you want it to be, with another bonus chunk of like duffel bag storage below the double bunks. Now take a look at the bunks themselves. Both bunks, upper and lower, have windows that open for airflow. Both bunks, upper and lower, have some form of outlet so that you know, you can have a little entertainment station for the kiddos on some kind of rainy day. You can see over here they put USB plugs here. They could easily have a cord wrapped around, whereas there's full household outlets over there in that corner. Now the bathroom here, remember the camper is a little bit taller. That means we have a little bit taller shower. We have a shower surround and skylight. Those are boring things. I say that all the time in Catalina. This is boring stuff to talk about. Oh boy, it's got a skylight. I'm pointing it out because not everything in this class has it. And that is kind of what helps separate a Catalina Summit from another entry-level style of camper. Huge medicine cabinet over here, not just a mirror against the wall. And that's another thing about these folks. They are function first, fashion second. But I think with like the lighter color palettes and everything, they've done a good job of really merging the two. Now something else that's kind of clutch here, whether it's this bathroom counter, the tabletop, or the kitchen counter, they're all a sealed edge press membrane material. So especially here around the sink, you've got kids, they're gonna splash water. They just can't help themselves, even if it's just their toothbrush. I don't know how. My daughter gets water everywhere when she's brushing her teeth. Well, it's just nice to know that my countertop's not going to end up potentially sponging and swelling. That's a very low occurrence thing, even on a T-molded counter. But now it's a zero occurrence thing here in this Catalina, and I like that peace of mind. Flipping us back around here, taking another look at that sofa, note the fold-down armrest and those big pillows. It gives it like a kind of a cinema-style feel. It could be sort of a theater seat, or you could take the pillows and fold up the armrest, and you could make it like a 3-kid-seater. Or you could take the pillows and, ladies, you could smother a snoring husband. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, not that I recommend it. It's theoretically possible. Moving on. Note here, too, again, kind of a boring thing to talk about, but an important thing. We have sliding pocket doors, not privacy curtains to the bedroom. It's another standout feature, and I love that accent wall that they have right there. Now, I want to really take a second to look at the entertainment on this, because you look at this thing and, like, I mean, if you wanted to, you could put like a 40-inch or something big old monster TV up here. It'd be awesome. And you notice that there's a TV bracket, and I said you could put a TV up. A Summit Catalina has all of the hardware necessary should you choose to add a TV. It just doesn't actually have a TV. Because a lot of people buying this kind of camper, they're looking to go very basic camping. But they buy hardware in such bulk that basically they could throw the stuff in here for pretty much $0 so that it's easier for you. Now note too, off the back of the DVD Bluetooth stereo, there's actually HDMI wiring run, so that if you do choose to be like, you know, streaming Roku friendly, plug in a Blu-ray player or something like that, you've got the ability to do those kind of things. And then once again, remember, a little bit taller inside means taller headroom in the shower, more open area, and bigger cabinet space. And a good indicator, not a guarantee, but a good indicator up here is the extra shelving that you see in this overhead cabinet. That's a strong indicator that there is a taller camper in play here. Now, Wildwood X-Lite that we have here at Haylett RV, they have something very similar, even though they're a normal 6.5-foot interior. Either way, extra cupboard space, simply by virtue of the fact they threw a shelf in there. Now, if you ever go camper shopping, one of the things you can do, this is called the cabinet style. Reach back here and feel around, right where this meets this. In the case of a Catalina, you're going to feel where it's pocket screwed together. That is kind of, you know, a higher grade of construction. Stapled cabinetry is okay. I think most people are going to agree, without a whole lot of arguing, you would prefer pocket screwed cabinetry, all things being equal. It's just a little more expensive, but potentially a little bit longer lasting. I think generally speaking, any type of cabinet construction is okay, as long as you're not, you know, jostling this thing down old log roads or whatever. Then you probably want the heavier pocket screw cabinetry like we're looking at here. So, you look at this, if you wanted to, you could easily kill the shelf under the sink to create a wastebasket space, but you've got good drawer space here in that top drawer. If I get a little closer, you can see that it is segmented for forks, spoons, knives, etc. We talked about the sealed countertops, but you can see how these include, used to be optional, now standard, the flush mount sink covers to really maximize your prep space. Kitchen breeze window there, so you can keep an eye on the kiddos and yell at them when they're being stupid. I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking from my own time as a child, but hey. And the pop-up power tower. Now, those household outlets on that are positioned in opposite orientations. So, you know, sometimes some things have that big, fat, bulky plug and you can never get it plugged into anything. That can kind of help with that sometimes. Up here, we've got a very simple but effective bedroom. Notice again, remember, it had privacy doors, not just curtains. And in this class and category, this is pretty much what most bedrooms look like. What I do like to point out, though, look at what's just above that window. That is a light switch for the light up here. So you don't have to climb on the bed to reach up to this taller series camper to get to the switch. Now the lights that are under these overheads right here, that shelf, That's easy to reach. Even if you're laying in bed, you can just reach up and click that thing. So that's on their own separate switches. And both sides of the bed have household and USB plugs. So that, you know, no matter what you're on, if it's phones, CPAPs, etc., you're good to go. And they leave their side stands wide open here, which I think is really nice for folks who feel maybe a little bit claustrophobic. They don't want to have that coffin sleep going on. And man, these Catalinas have some eye appeal. You know, it's what you call just like a starter class camper, but it's simple, solid, reliable, but it still looks good behind that vehicle. And this color palette, especially, you know, I don't care, you got a white, black, silver truck. Actually, I think those are the 3 most common colors out there last I checked, like motor statistics. This thing would look absolutely fantastic behind them. A couple cool things here. These have a triple sealed slide system where you have seal gripping slide walls that activate a double wiper seal to really get a good grab on that. And then there's an interior and exterior bulb seal. So whether the slide's all the way in or out, you always have 3 points of contact. Additionally, a Catalina Summit like this can be optioned the way that we like to here at Haylett RV with an enclosed underbelly for some extra protection. Note also, this has very well tinted windows to keep the hot sunshine that we're seeing today out of there. It keeps your furniture from fading, keeps it cooler. You also get a great look at a light post here in the parking lot, pardon me. It looks like a tracking bar kind of working its way across an old VHS tape, doesn't it? I guess I'm starting to date myself a little, but hey. Backup camera ready, fully walkable roof, and a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor deck kind of round out the back end here before we get to all the fun on the whole patio party area. Now over here they do a nicely equipped kind of low profile camp kitchen before we get to that power running. And before we get to the camp kitchen, we got the handy little leash latch, which is good, yeah, you know, for obviously keeping the pets tied down, but also you can kind of just sort of strap the kids' bikes to it, so it's just one less way that they kind of wander off on their own. Ooh, whoa, yeah, baby. This is for those tough to open bottles of water that are not manually operated. The kind of water that is flavored with barley and hops, so to speak. Bartles and James variety. Anyway, that was more wine coolers though, you get the point. Miniature camp kitchen, back to the task at hand. 7 cubic foot fridge inside, plus a little 2 point whatever dorm fridge out here, gives us 9 point whatever total cubic foot of cold storage. That's pretty good for what you're going to call an entry-level camper. Now you have the same sealed edge counter stuff out here that you have inside, but look what they do with this handy little kind of corner pocket for their Coleman camp grill. Now this doesn't connect into any sort of, you know, like propane system. It feeds off those separate bottles. But what's nice is because it is free floating, you could use it on the picnic table, you could use it right here next to your sink, or you could just not use it and have some prep space, and those choices and selection are great. Now above the wheels here, you see that we have that aluminum fender trim. I love that because it can't fail. It's not going to get brittle in the sun, it's not going to fall apart. It's not going to fade. It's pretty much always going to look like that unless you run into it with the lawnmower, in which case even plastic trim would probably not fare very well. You can see we've added the optional stable steps, which we do on pretty much anything, pretty much any time we have a chance here at Haylett RV, because it keeps the trailer from jostling around. A neat update also as we scan up, not just that XL handle, that was there, but the anti-slam entry door means that if the kids fling the door open, or if they're just not holding on to it on a windy day, it's not going to go whack against the side of the trailer. And yes, I will make that sound again if you ask me. LED accent lighting under the awning as well as on the speakers is cool, but what's also cool on the awning is this little Dometic power channel. It comes with a nice little LED flood spotlight hybrid combo kind of job, and you can mount it anywhere on that little channel, just twists and locks in place. And what's nice is, like, this is blue lighting, neat little accent. Not everyone wants blue lights, but when you want a nice bright white light at night, you want it in one good illuminating area so that you're not blowing away the neighbors. You don't want light flooding into their windows and the park ranger comes knocking on the door at night. Nobody wants to deal with Mr. Park Ranger or Ms. Park Ranger in the evening hours. So that little floodlight, kind of a neat thing there. Now, big pass-through storage with doors on both sides. Not all brands do little things like that. So it doesn't matter what side of the camper you're on, you have easy access either way with an extra large door on this side. And apparently somebody set their drink on the propane tanks. It's between you know, sections here, but you see the propane covers that drink is set upon. Entry-level campers very often lack a propane bottle cover. So usually it's open exposed bottles, which is okay. But that's the difference in Catalina. When it's a function, protection, structure item, they go from good to better. And that's, I think, Catalina in a nutshell right there. Kind of like, I say the same phrase a lot about our Coachman Apexes. They're simple where they should be and fancy where they could be. They do what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, the way it needs to be done. Kind of like Haylett RV, I'd like to think. So, give us a call, take care, stay safe, have fun. Happy camping, everyone. Oh, and remember, we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else, and we'll see you soon.